Okay guys, this is my deck feature for my top 64 WCQ Europe LIGHTSWORN deck. I figured I'd do this in English because a lot of people outside of Germany would watch the feature as well, and I need to explain some card choices here because I think my list is quite different from what the other lists that topped. And I came up with this list pretty much 3-4 months ago, I think, when the new LIGHTSWORN cards were first put on the end. Built a LIGHTSWORN ruler out of nowhere from scratch, and I adapted the list from there. Put in the Curry Bandits, put in a Soul Charge, put in stuff that came out afterwards, adapted it to the metagame, and I came up with this list with a friend, Dominic Mitolo, and another friend, Lucas Calovini. Huge shout out to these, and I think we found a pretty solid list. The deck ran amazing. I went 10-1 in Swiss, finished 4th after Swiss, and unluckily lost in top 64 to Gear because he had a crucial LF Justice cycle reader on my 4th LIGHTSWORN, and I pretty much lost from that. Shout out to the Polish national champion who I lost to in top 64. He's a really nice guy, and yeah, we had a good game. Alright, here's the deck list. Oh yeah, this is the mat I got for top 64 cut. Not sure what to charge on it, but it's definitely for trade or sale. If you want it, feel free to offer on it. Alright, here comes the main deck. First off, we have the boss monsters. That's 2 Light Ray Diabolos, 1 BLS, and triple Judgment Ring. Pretty obvious. I chose to run 3 Judgment Ring. I chose to run a BLS because BLS goes for games so much, it's versatile in removal, and since I run 4 Darks in my main deck, I thought it'd be okay to run BLS because 4 Dogs with that much milling I got, and obviously enough lights is pretty much not too that of a card. Also, I chose not to run 3 Diabolos in order to lower the probability of having brick hands, and therefore there's just 2 Diabolos. Then I have my discard outlet, which is not spells or LIGHTSWORN monsters. That's 1 Card Trooper and 2 Curry Bandit. I opted to choose 1 Card Trooper over the 3rd Curry Bandit because Card Trooper is a card that stays on the field. Your opponent has to deal with it. If they don't deal with it, you get to mill more. Also, it can double the commonly run Steel Swarm Roach and deal some damage. So also Card Trooper is one of my favorite cards, as you might remember from my Voice to San Mateo win. I ran Card Troopers and Dragons back then when nearly nobody did, and the card's just so versatile and I love it. So also 3rd Curry Bandit, I found them to be cloggy, so if you start 2 or more, you'll either be very slow or you keep it in your hand the entire game and discard it eventually for Lumina, or just keep it in the hand until you win or lose. So I never wanted to draw more than 1 Curry Bandit in a game, so having it in your first hand is really good, but having more than 1 is really bad, so I opted to choose 2 over 3. Then I have my Dragon Engine, that's triple Eclipse Wyvern to banish my Diabolos and JDs from deck and get a quick hold of them. Then only 2 Dragon Rulers, Tidal and Blaster, because they're the strongest, and in any combination, even if my opponent heals himself with a Michael or summon, Tidal Blaster and either Diabolos or Judgment Dragon should always be game. That's why I opted not to use Tempest or Redux, especially because Redux is just too weak to run over anything significant, and Tempest is also not big enough to run over most common threats like Ophion or Majesty's Fiend. Obviously, after you breakthrough skilled them, but in tests I had that situation quite a few times, that you breakthrough skill an Ophion or Majesty's Fiend, and if you had a Tempest Engrave and no big Dragon Rules, you might be fucked, because you just have to double it and can't go for the safe Draxoc play main phase 2 because you're lacking a level 7. And also, I think you don't really run any Earth except for the 1 Trooper, or any Winds except for the Dracosex in your main deck that might be relevant. So just for these 1 each extra elements that might be enable you to bring back more often, I didn't find it worth to run either Tempest or Redux. Okay, then we continue with the LIGHTSWORNs. I ran 1 Minerva, 1 Wolf, 1 Riku, 1 Lila, 1 Gareth. Those are basically just there for the versatility and for the names. So Lila and Riku are obviously just removals. Gareth is mainly there for the first turn play. If you get to Lumina Gareth first turn, you have a really good setup, and you might even draw some extra cards, and you fill up your grave to go for the OTK turn 2 or 3. So Gareth is basically there for the turn 1 play, or to discard to the graveyard for an extra different LIGHTSWORN name. Minerva is there as a level 3 tuner. I used it quite often if I drew Eclipse Wyvern to make Michael or Blackrust Ring, and Minerva never used its effect to add a dragon to my hand because I only run 7 different LIGHTSWORNs in total, and the only thing I could really search for would be an additional Eclipse Wyvern, and I think I never used that even once in the tournament. And I run one wolf just to be able to ditch it with Foolish Burial, or sometimes get the extra level 4 for rank 4 plays like Level Chain or level 8 Synchros with Raiden. And I must say it worked really good. I drew it in my first hand a couple of times, but I milled it lucky a couple of times as well. So I think 1 is the perfect number here. I used to run 2, but 2 are cloggy, and if I draw my first hand, I cry, and it adds to the break hands this deck sometimes has. So 1 is really good, and it's a different name as well. Then I run Triple Lumina, obvious choice, one of the best cards, gives you access to your whole graveyard, can bring back Raiden for level 7 Synchro plays, Minerva for level 3, rank 3 XYZ plays, and it's just really good. And it gets rid of dead cards you want to have in your grave, such as Blasters, Titles, Eclipse Wyverns, Wolf, stuff like that. Then I have Triple Raiden because the card is similar to a card trooper. It's a level 4 tuner, it's a beat stick, and it mills 4 cards in one turn if you keep it alive, and I think that's enough for the card to be in deck maximized. Then I have my hand traps. That's 1 Honest, 1 Gauze, double effect Veiler, 1 Rainbow Kuriboh, and 1 Tragodia. I chose to run just 1 Rainbow Kuriboh and 1 Tragodia because Tragodia came in versatile against some of the bad matchups, such as Evil Swarm, when they opted to attack first and then drop the Ophion main phase 2. I could just summon the Tragodia and pose a threat to the Ophion because they can't make an Ophion against the 3k Tragodia. And that happened quite a bit, and it also won me a game against Gear once when I managed to discard a Wyvern for Tragodia's effect to get take control of their Gear armor, and go for level chain to set me up for next turn's OTK, ditching a Wyvern and a Dragon Roll to my graveyard, which is pretty much all I need to go off. And yeah, it's pretty versatile. I'm even considering to double it up and play 2 of it because it came in so handy, and I might cut out the Rainbow Kuriboh because that one was good. It was testing good, but it wasn't absolutely needed. And in some places, I would have rather had a Tragodia in hand than a Curry Bandit. Fucking hell, Rainbow Kuriboh. I'm sorry, and that's one of the choices I might change from my actual list, but that needs a little more testing to definitely get a conclusion on that. Alright, then we go on with the spells. I ran Triple Solar Recharge. It's just one of the essential cards you want to start with. Gives you very much speed and thins out your deck, mills cards, draws cards, gets LIGHTSWORN into grave. It's just an amazing card. Nearly as amazing as Charge of the Light Brigade. Charge of the Light Brigade, every game I started this with, I won the game. The card is just too good. Sets up for the Lumina's plays, searches out Lumina, searches out another name, mills 3, guaranteed, and yeah, the card is just broken. I would so love to run 3 of those. Then I run 1 Monster Incarnation to get back boss monsters or Luminas I need, 1 Foolish Burial for the versatility, and 1 Soul Charge only, because I found it to be cloggy as well, and I wanted to have no more than 1, maybe in my first hand, maybe against Hat when they take away my normal summon, and in order to be still able to mill, or sometimes, but I rarely did that, to get back a lot of monsters to set up with an Engineer, Dracocyte play or something like that. Yeah, and then for the traps, I ran Triple Needlebug Nest. The card is just the heart of the deck. It enables the deck to do what it does, meaning you can OTK turn 2 or 3 the latest, because this card adds so much speed to the deck. It's like an additional Charge of Light Brigade, but sometimes even better. Like the deck is capable of playing his whole OTK from the grave, banishing 2 Wyvern, getting back a Dragon Roller, getting 2 JDs back to the hand, and then just going all in. The deck's really good at doing that, so if you start with a Needlebug Nest or Charge of the Light Brigade or a Courier Bandit, the deck pretty much wins by itself because it's so fast. It outspeeds any deck in the meta. It even outspeeds Mermail greatly. Like, I played against 4 Mermail decks in the whole tournament. I won against all of them. Only one was quite close against Massimiliano Santoro, where we went all the way to game 3, and he made a pretty good comeback over Dracostack Engineer, but in the end I just out-resourced him because he had to use all his resources to get over my field, and then I still had a Dragon Ruler Engrave and still had Judgment Dragons to top deck and Judgment Dragons to get back with Wyvern. So pretty much that's how you win against HAT as well. You go for the 1-and-1 trades, like they trade a trap you for one of your monsters all the time, and then in the end both of you are left with a really simplified game state. Both of you have a really low monster and spell trap count on the field in your hand, but you still have your whole grave and you can just outplay them by doing that, because after trading 1-for-1 all the time and you still have a Dragon Ruler and possibly even Eclipse Wyvern and Judgment Dragons banished, you can just get huge momentum and just win the game from there. Alright, then we continue with the side deck. On the side deck I chose to tech a lot for the mirror match because I was expecting a lot of mirror matches, and I had 3 actually, and I won all of them 2-0. So I was running 2 out of just a Cycle Reader and 2 DD Crow and 2 Maxis for the mirror match, and Crows and Maxis also for the Mermail and some other matchups. Then I ran 2 Phantom of Chaos. Phantom of Chaos was just amazing against Evil Swarm, against all decks citing Light Imprisoning Mirrors, against everything that's rogue that disables me from getting to my combos quick, against Gear when they prevent me from filling my graveyard. As long as I have at least one of the boss monsters in my grave, I can still get huge pluses of this card. Like, imagine copying a Judgment Dragon turn 2 because you milled it with your Charge of Light Brigade or Solar Recharge, and then just randomly blasting your opponent's field when they don't expect it. That's huge. That's actually huge. And that happened quite a few times, so this card definitely stays in my side deck. It's so good. And yeah, shout out to Gary Cadwallader, who gave me the idea of running it by asking me if I had some for him before the tournament. Gary, you know, we still have to get our LIGHTSWORN match, like our rematch for LIGHTSWORN Mirror, and it will eventually happen, you know. And then we have 2 XYZ Encore, just because Evil Swarm is a really bad matchup and you need to have something for that. And 2 Breakthrough Skill for the same reason, also against stuff like Dweller and Steel Swarm Roach and stuff that stays on the field and annoys you and prevents you from playing. And I have Triple Decree just because my deck runs a low trap count, and most cards that are being sided against me are traps, and Decree won me quite a few games because Decree is just an auto win against trap heavy decks like HAT, and because you can outspeed them with the monsters and they can't use their traps to slow you down. Then for the extra deck, probably wouldn't make any changes. I have never missed Scrub Dragon, and the deck's pretty much the way it is. The only thing I would probably change would be considering to put in a Leo over Diamond Direwolf, because I didn't use Diamond Direwolf that often, but I'll have to check, I'll have to test. Like, I was running 1 Macrip Engineer, 1 Levier, 1 Exeter Knight, 1 Arc, 1 Level Chain, 1 Diamond Direwolf, 1 Dracostack, 1 Big Eye, 1 Fulgurant, and 1 Black Rose Dragon, 1 Michael, 1 Crimson Blader, 1 Colossal Fighter, 1 Starter String, and 1 Star Eater. And that was my extra deck, and yeah, as I said, I was pretty satisfied. The deck was great, it ran great. Only game I lost to in Swiss was Bujin against a Czech Republic player who top decked Prohibition on Triple JD in my hand game 3, and yeah, I pretty much lost from that. But other than that, the deck did what it did what it was supposed to do, and I'm very satisfied with my result. Like, I could have probably gone further in top 64 if that Cycle Reader wouldn't have come down, but well, that's that 10% luck of the game, and sometimes it happens, and I hold no grudge because the guy was nice and he deserved to win. So yeah, that's it for my report for the European Championship 2014. If you have any questions, any strategy you want to add, any hints, any updates, feel free to post it. I'll post this video on a couple groups and on my YouTube channel, obviously. And yeah. Other than that, I had a very amazing weekend in Amsterdam. Huge shout out to all people I met. There's like 200 people I would want to greet. So as you see, way too many to name all of them. But to name a few, it's Dominic Mitolo, Ronnie Munger, and Nicolas Liebold and Matthias Lemper, who I want to give a special shout out to because I hung out with you guys most of the time. And all the Italian players, shout out to Team Jolly Roger, and especially Paolo Pacchiana and Emanuele Folenti. Yeah, that's it, and I hope you tune in for more updates.